My girlfriend snapped. You don't get to have an opinion because we're not married. I had reserved a table at the restaurant she'd wanted for weeks, but she left it all behind for a trip with her friends, and the security footage at my office revealed her sinister plot that I'm a planner. I like things organized, predictable, and efficient. It's how my brain works, analyzing, strategizing, optimizing. It's what makes me good at my job as a software developer, and, I thought, what made me a decent partner to Olivia. She's not a planner. Olivia is a force of nature, spontaneous, energetic, and always chasing the next adventure. We're opposites in a lot of ways, but that's always been part of the appeal. I provide the grounding, the stability, while she brings the excitement, the unpredictability. We've been dating for 2 years. 2 years of navigating those differences, of learning to compromise, of building a life that somehow accommodated both my meticulously organized spreadsheets and her impulsive, last-minute road trips. It hasn't always been easy, but it's always been worth it. At least, that's what I kept telling myself. For the past month, I'd been meticulously planning a special weekend for Olivia and me. She'd been working nonstop, juggling freelance photography gigs, teaching yoga classes, and somehow managing to maintain a semblance of a social life. She was exhausted, stressed, and craving some downtime. So, I decided to surprise her. I managed to snag a reservation at Ember, a new restaurant that had been getting rave reviews. Olivia had been trying to get a table there for weeks, but it was always booked solid. I pulled some strings, called in a favor from a friend, and secured a prime Saturday night reservation. Then, I booked a couple's massage at a high-end spa, arranged for a gourmet brunch delivery on Sunday morning, and cleared my entire weekend schedule, promising myself no coding, no emails, just uninterrupted time with Olivia. I even cleaned the apartment, top to bottom, something I usually dread but knew Olivia would appreciate. I stocked the fridge with her favorite snacks, bought a new bottle of her favorite wine, and even picked up a bouquet of her favorite flowers, sunflowers, bright and cheerful, just like her. I was excited. I hadn't seen Olivia this stressed and overworked in a while, and I knew this weekend would be the perfect antidote, a chance for us to reconnect, to relax, and to remind each other why we were together. Friday night arrived, and I was buzzing with anticipation. I'd finished work early, put on my best date night shirt, and was just setting the table with candles when Olivia walked in. She looked tired, her face pale, her shoulders slumped. "Hey, babe," I said, greeting her with a kiss. "How was your day?" "Brutal," she sighed, dropping her bag on the floor. "Client from hell, editing nightmare, just ugh." "Well, get ready to relax," I said, grinning. "I've got a surprise for you." I led her to the table, revealing the flowers, the candles, and the reservation confirmation for Ember. Her reaction wasn't quite what I'd expected. She smiled, but it seemed strained, almost forced. "Oh, Ethan, that's really sweet," she said, but her voice lacked its usual enthusiasm. My heart sank a little. "What's wrong? Don't you want to go?" She hesitated, fidgeting with her phone. "Actually, I have something to tell you." And then she dropped the bomb. "My friends called," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "They're going to Vegas this weekend. It's a last-minute thing. They really want me to come." I stared at her, dumbfounded. "Vegas? This weekend? But I planned this whole thing for us. The restaurant, the massage, everything." She shrugged, avoiding my gaze. "I know, and I appreciate it, I really do. But this is different. It's a chance to get away, to let loose, to just be with my girls for a while." "What about us?" I asked, my voice rising. "What about our weekend? What about everything I planned?" She sighed, her expression hardening. "Ethan, it's just a weekend. Besides, I need this. I need to get out of the city, to recharge. You'll be fine without me for a couple of days." "But the reservations, the money I spent." I trailed off, feeling petty and foolish. Her eyes flashed with irritation. "Look, I didn't ask you to do any of that. And honestly, you need to relax a little. You're always so intense. I need some space, some time to breathe." And then she said the words that cut me deeper than anything else. The words that made me question everything about our relationship. "Besides, Ethan, you don't get to have an opinion about what I do because we're not married." The air was sucked out of the room. I stared at her, speechless, feeling like I'd been slapped. The dismissiveness in her voice, the casual disregard for my feelings, The implication that my opinion didn't matter because we weren't legally bound together. It was a punch to the gut. Without another word, she grabbed her bag, threw a few things into a suitcase, and headed for the door. "I'll text you when I get there," she said, her voice flat. "Try to have a good weekend, okay?" And then she was gone, leaving me standing alone in the apartment, surrounded by sunflowers and the ghosts of a weekend that would never be. The candles flickered, casting long, distorted shadows across the room, and I felt a cold certainty settle in my heart. Something had shifted, something had broken, and I didn't know if it could ever be fixed. The apartment felt cavernous, echoing with the silence of Olivia's absence. The sunflowers, once a symbol of my affection, now seemed to mock me with their cheerful brightness, a reminder of the joy I'd hoped to create, now replaced by a hollow ache. I blew out the candles, the scent of extinguished wax mingling with the bitter taste of disappointment. I spent the rest of the evening in a daze, replaying the argument with Olivia, dissecting her words, searching for some hidden meaning, some explanation for her sudden, callous decision. The phrase, "you don't get to have an opinion because we're not married," looped in my head, each repetition twisting the knife a little deeper. Was she questioning our commitment? Was she testing my boundaries? Or was she simply being selfish, prioritizing her own desires without any regard for my feelings? I tried to distract myself, scrolling through social media, watching mindless TV, anything to avoid confronting the growing storm of emotions churning inside me. But the emptiness in the apartment was a constant reminder of Olivia's absence, of the weekend we should have been sharing, of the connection that seemed to be slipping away. Around midnight, I gave in and texted my friend, Ben. Ben has always been the pragmatic one, the voice of reason in my often chaotic life. I knew he wouldn't sugarcoat things, wouldn't offer empty platitudes. I needed his blunt honesty, his level-headed perspective. "Hey man, you up?" I texted. "Need to vent." Ben replied almost immediately. "Always. What's up?" I quickly summarized the situation. The planned weekend, Olivia's sudden trip to Vegas, her dismissive comment about my opinion. Ben listened without interruption, then offered his characteristic bluntness. "Dude, that's messed up. I'm not gonna lie, that's a major red flag. You planned something special, and she just bailed, then told you your feelings don't matter because you're not married? That's not cool, man. That's disrespectful." His words validated my own feelings of hurt and anger. "So what do I do?" I texted back. "Do I confront her? Do I just let it go? I don't even know what to say." "I wouldn't let it go completely," Ben replied. "You need to let her know that her actions have consequences. But don't go nuclear, not yet. See how she acts when she gets back. If she's apologetic, if she makes an effort to make it up to you, maybe you can salvage this. But if she acts like nothing happened, if she's still dismissive, then you need to have a serious conversation about the future of your relationship." His advice was sound, pragmatic, just what I needed. But it didn't ease the gnawing anxiety that had taken root in my chest. I spent a restless night tossing and turning, haunted by images of Olivia partying in Vegas, surrounded by strangers, her words echoing in my mind. "You don't get to have an opinion because we're not married." The next morning, I did what I always do when I feel overwhelmed. I immersed myself in data. I pulled up Olivia's social media profiles, something I rarely did, and started scrolling through her recent posts. There were pictures of her and her friends posing by the pool, sipping cocktails, and hitting the casinos. She looked carefree, radiant, as if she hadn't a care in the world. There was no mention of me, no acknowledgement of our relationship, no indication that she was missing me at all. I felt a pang of jealousy, a bitter resentment that she could so easily dismiss our connection, while I was stuck at home, replaying our argument and dissecting her every word. Then, I noticed something else. In a few of the group photos, there was a guy, someone I didn't recognize. He was always standing close to Olivia, his hand lingering on her back, his eyes fixed on her with an intensity that made my stomach churn. I zoomed in on his face, searching for any identifying details. He was younger than Olivia, maybe late 20s, with a chiseled jawline, styled hair, and an air of effortless confidence. He looked like the kind of guy who could charm anyone, the kind of guy who might make a woman question her commitments, her priorities, her entire life. I felt a surge of anger, a possessive rage that surprised even myself. Was this the reason Olivia had bailed on our weekend? Was she chasing after some younger, more exciting prospect, leaving me in the dust? The rational part of my brain screamed at me to calm down, to not jump to conclusions. But the images, the lingering touches, the intense gazes, they painted a picture that was hard to ignore. I continued to scroll through Olivia's social media, searching for more clues, more evidence, anything to confirm or deny my growing suspicions. I found a few more photos of her and the mystery guy, each one fueling my anxiety. They were at a fancy restaurant, at a crowded nightclub, at a blackjack table, their bodies pressed close, their faces flushed with laughter. They looked like they were having the time of their lives, completely oblivious to the turmoil I was experiencing back home. Then, I found something that stopped me cold. It was a photo posted by one of Olivia's friends, a candid shot of Olivia and the mystery guy walking hand in hand down the Las Vegas Strip. The caption read, "Vegas nights with these two lovebirds." Red heart. The words lovebirds hit me like a physical blow. It was a confirmation of my worst fears, a public declaration of something that had been secretly brewing beneath the surface. Olivia wasn't just having a casual fling. She was building a connection with someone else, a connection that threatened to unravel everything we'd built together. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. I felt a surge of dizziness, a wave of nausea, as if I was falling from a great height. My heart pounded in my chest, my hands trembled, and I struggled to catch my breath. I closed my laptop, shutting out the images, the captions, the undeniable proof of Olivia's betrayal. I was alone, hurt and scared. And that's when I knew that if I didn't do something and take action for my best interests, I would lose something valuable in life. Final update. The weekend crawled by. I was alone, stewing in a mixture of anger, hurt, and disbelief. The images from Olivia's social media were seared into my brain, replaying on a loop, each one a fresh wound. I barely ate, barely slept, spending most of the time pacing the apartment, burbling possibilities, and weighing decisions. The only thing I knew for certain was that I couldn't let this go. I couldn't pretend that nothing had happened. I needed answers, and I needed to decide what to do with the information I had. Olivia returned late Sunday night, acting as if nothing was amiss. She was bubbly and chatty. "Vegas was amazing," she announced, throwing her bag on the floor. "I needed that so much. I can tell you everything." "I saw the pictures, Olivia," I said calmly, cutting through her facade. Her face fell, and the air in the room changed in that moment. She knew. "What pictures?" she asked, though I was sure she already knew what I meant. I pulled out my laptop and showed her the photograph of her and the other guy holding hands, with the caption, "Vegas nights with these two lovebirds." She didn't say anything for a long time, and then she mumbled, "It's not what it looks like." "Then what does it look like?" I asked, my voice quiet but firm. She tried to offer up an explanation, but she clearly didn't think much of it herself. We argued and argued for hours, but that conversation wasn't as important as what happened the next day. The next day, I got a phone call to head into work because I'd left my laptop, but I worked from home. When I got there, I asked security to review the security footage with me. I had noticed a weird noise on a recording I had taken in the apartment, and it only clicked to me then to ask for the footage from work. What I found on the security footage of my office blew me away. A man going into my office, putting something in my bag, and then taking something out. This man was Alex Reynolds. I turned the security footage over to the police and also spoke with the owner of the yoga studio to let him know about Reynolds, the man that was preying on his clients. Things went into motion faster than I could follow them. Reynolds had a target on his back from the police and those he wronged. The yoga studio's members, after hearing what happened, left en masse. As for Olivia and I, there wasn't anything to be saved. She tried to win me back and tried to apologize, but I wasn't going to let that happen after all she had done. She showed that everything she said to me meant nothing to her, and that was the final straw. I packed up my things and moved out of the apartment, and I am now at a better place. I also realized that there's more to life than just work and settling, and have been doing things I never could have imagined. I've been getting to connect with others by sharing what happened to me, which is why I decided to share with everyone on Reddit what happened. This is just a reminder to be cautious about the people you bring into your life, whether it be a friend or significant other.